funny, like, now that I'm sober, people think, like, oh, you're sober, you should know better, you know, like, yeah. You're not. And like my family and like the people close to me are like, you shouldn't be skipping class, you should know better, you're sober. And it's like, whoa, I didn't become a perfect robot when I got sober. Like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think drunk people made mistakes. Like we didn't invent mistakes, we perfected them, but I don't think Hitler was totally inebriated when he came up with the Holocaust, guys. So like, cut me some slack when I'm gonna miss class. And if I'm not mistaken, sober people invented booze. Like, so it's like one day there's two guys and they're like, this will not do. Life is boring. So they crushed up some grapes and left them in the sun for a while, and they came back the next day and they got drunk, and then booze and mistakes were born that day. It's 2012. Anybody make any New Year's resolutions for 2012? New Year's resolutions, Philippa? No. Cool. I didn't really have any New Year's resolutions, just maybe like don't die was like my major one. Survive the apocalypse, because that's happening next December. No, it's not. See my theory on this is like the whole mind thing is that we just got it wrong. Like the mind, there's a guy named Mind, it was like 2012 years ago, and he was like carving calendars into stone, and like he had been doing this for years. His wife and kids left him, and like he was just like, no, I gotta do this. And he got to 2011 years, and then he started on 2012, and he was just like, he was chiseling away, and he got to December 21st, and he was like, you know what? That's enough. Like, I've lost everything. You guys gotta open your mind for this to work, but he's like, I lost everything. I got a beard, yeah, I got a great tan now, but like, December 21st, 2012, like that's a lot of years. Like, hopefully humanity, by the time this comes around, will be smart enough to pick up where I left off, and then 2012 years later, we're like, let's see what the mind's had to say. I know some people are like, well, Chad, they got scientists, so like they read hieroglyphics and like they study that stuff, but really, how do we know what they were like writing when they were carving pictures? Like, we have a pretty good guess, but like reading hieroglyphics is like being the best at guessing how many jelly beans are in a jar. Like, yeah, sure, you won a few times, but you don't know for sure. Oh, well, it was the best guess, so. I just moved into my new place a couple weeks ago, and just getting set up, I'm kind of missing, like, I've got everything moved in, and I'm realizing, like, I need a few things, so just, like, if there's any salt shakers and stuff missing tonight, it wasn't from my table. I took a couple knives and forks, too, but don't worry about it. No, it's really good to be back here, like, only in the pod you go to a high-class function, and there's, like, 4 guys wearing hoodies and hats, and, looking at you, Harry. Looking at you. I was watching Survivor Man the other day, and I was thinking, like, you know what? I think I could do that. Like, I'm half Aboriginal. It's kind of in my blood. Like, you know, I'd be all right in the wilderness. Like, as soon as they drop me in the wilderness, it'd just be like my feet would hit the ground, and like ponytail would just grow out of nowhere. And then like in like 2 more minutes, I'd fashion a bow and arrow, and I'd be shooting deer and like making some mucklucks and stuff. And then like I'd maybe try herd some bison off a cliff. Oh, I guess I couldn't do that because some settlers almost drove them to extinction. Little history in that joke for you guys. I'd probably do all right though, unless like someone gave me a smallpox-infected blanket. I don't know. Yeah. Laugh at the genocide, guys. Laugh at the genocide. One of my buddies, he's a comedian and he's a native fellow as well. And when I got sober, he was like, you know, Chad, you're sober now. You can't really consider yourself to be Aboriginal. I was like, wait. I got it covered, Paul. I signed up for welfare this morning, so... It's okay, it's my people. Nah, living sober, it's a good life. I get a lot more Christmas presents now. And, I'm back to being the good kid. Hey, Bree. It's actually funny, I was here at Christmas and we went to the Boxing Day social and I gave my sister a ride home and she's like, can you pull over? And I was like, alright. Pull over and she starts puking and I was like, yes! I'm in the driver's seat this time! And like, I smoked a lot of weed growing up too, and like a lot. I forgot where I was going with that. But I got a laptop for Christmas this year, which has been really good because my imagination just wasn't cutting it anymore, and. Just kidding, guys. But I was looking at one of these adult sites that I go to, and you know how if you have a Facebook account and you like watch a video on YouTube, you can share that video with your friends on Facebook. Well, on this one porn site that I visit, I noticed the other day you can share your favorite porn clips with your friends on Facebook, which I thought was a little weird. Like, not that it's like weird stuff that I look at, just like. I was like, what am I gonna put to the title of that video? You know, like, oh hey guys, I was just masturbating and I saw this clip. I thought of you guys immediately, so enjoy, winky face, and then one of my buddies is like, oh, Chad just masturbated. Like, but for a while there, like I didn't have a laptop, and so doing that was a little tricky, and I would just like, it was like being in high school, like early high school again. I just like watched like movies that had lots of nudity in them, and I was looking for a movie to watch, and I was talking with a buddy, and he's like, dude, Black Swan, the movie, there's a sweet lesbian scene with Mila Kunis and Natalie Portman, you should watch that. And I was like, yes! So I go out and I rent this movie, right, and I pop it in my DVD player, I get some Kleenexes, I get some lotion, some candles, I like to do it right and clean up at the end, and I turned out the lights and I lit the candles and I started watching this movie. It turns out Black Swan is a really, really, really good movie, and I forgot to masturbate that night. But those Kleenexes were used for something. Catch my tears. Yeah. Forgot where I was going again. I got sober, not smarter. I was like being a comedian, you like don't take life as serious as you should sometimes, and like especially my uncle came down for a visit a couple weeks ago, and like we have a pretty good relationship, but like we don't talk a lot. So like we're sitting in Denny's because I like to tell him I'm taking him for something nice, but we just go to Denny's, and we're sitting in Denny's and we order our food, and then just like, so. How's everybody back home? Oh, good. Oh, good. And like you could tell we're both like trying to think of things to say to each other, and the whole time I'm like, this is like a serious issue, but also this is really good for comedy. And so we eat our lunch, and he's like, is there anything else you need to do while I'm here? And I was like, I don't know. You want to do anything? And he's like, I don't know. We go check out Polo Park. And the whole time I'm thinking like, I need groceries. But I just didn't want to come out and say I need groceries, right? Because I'm supposed to be sober and responsible now. But so we go to Polo Park and we stood there for 20 minutes, and then he's like, oh, you want to go to a movie? And I was like, yeah, I guess so. And so we drive, and like it's just dead silence the whole time. And we get stopped by a train, and the train was like 20 minutes long. Guess who had a 20-minute nap? And then we get to the movie theater, and nothing's on for another hour. So we stood in line at the movie for 20 minutes, just looking at each other like, what are we gonna do? And then finally he's like, oh, do you need groceries? And I was like, yes! I do! Thank you for asking. And then I made sure I got a lot of frozen foods and like milk and stuff so I could go home right away. And just kidding, guys. I'm terrible. I'll leave you with one more. I was recently a top 10 finalist in this comedy competition put on by the Free Press, and the way it worked out was thank you, Jen. I didn't win, so whatever. I'm here now, and but the way it worked out is you did your routine, and then the three judges, one was like a professional comedian, and one was Ace Burpee from Hot 103, one was actually my buddy who won the competition last year. And when you're done your set, they all they critique you. It's like American Idol style. And so I finished, and Big Daddy Taz actually is like, you know, it was really good. And one of the guys from CBC actually just came up, and he was like, he said you remind him of the Stuart McLean of the North. And I was like, oh, cool. And then I went home and I Googled Stuart McLean. I was like, oh, Stuart McLean from the Vinyl Cafe. And then I was like, wait a minute, isn't Stuart McLean the Stuart McLean of the North because he's from Canada? But I'll take what I can get. You guys have been fair. Give it up again for Dave.